Now, post-fight, Colby Covington called out Poirier. I'm in the minority here. I loved the call out.
I loved it. No, it was my favorite.
I
It was
thought you
my
were going to give me
favorite.
pushback. I thought
No,
you
it
were
was
going
my
to give me
favorite. It's my
pushback.
favorite. The fact he's been telling Poirier that his son has an Irish accent, that's Connor's kid. Like, he's been saying ruthless shit talk during the buildup of this fight. He said, fuck Masvidal. I'm on to the next already.
Which is smart. And the number
I'm all
one thing
for
I
it.
love. You know the number one thing I loved about it? The call out didn't involve the name Usman.
Yeah, didn't have to.
Because he was backed into a corner with the Usman situation, right? He was in a tough spot. Everybody acknowledged it.
Well, what do you think everyone expected him to do if he won this fight like that?
To call out Usman, and it was
Exactly.
going to be like awkward, and Usman was going to be in the position to Heisman him. I love how he zigged when everybody thought he was going to zag. And
right.
A lot of people online are being like, "Oh, call out the lightweight, big man, blah blah blah." Poirier has said, like, anytime somebody hands him a mic, that he wants to move to welter.
Yeah. He said he has to diet for 2 months or like 6 weeks to get to fight camp weight to make weight.
Yes.
Like, it's absurd, dude. Like, I think he said he walks around at 200 pounds. 198.
And this puts Poirier in a tough spot, and here's why. Poirier said he wanted to move up to 70 to fight Nate Diaz, which we all know is like an asterisk 170 fight, right? He's fought at 55 before. He's on a fast streak. He's getting older. Everybody knows that's like a winnable fight for Dustin. So by Colby calling Dustin out, he kind of calls his bluff. Like, oh, are you only calling out Diaz in like the quasi 170 hybrid fight, or
do you want this really number one contender? Because if you beat me, here's Usman.
Yes, he called his bluff. Which
like he knows the leverage he holds in his own division.
But he just put Poirier in the toughest spot, right? Because either Poirier is doing what Chael calls a bully move and saying, oh, I only want fights I think I can win, or
he's down to take on the challenge to excel.
Like,
right.
In your own words, are you not a contender? We shouldn't take you seriously anymore. Is that what you're telling us? Right?
Right. Because you're number 2 in 155 and you want to call unranked guys 15 pounds heavier than you.
So I thought you were going to disagree with me. I'm so glad we agreed. Now, the general internet consensus is that they hated the call-out. And
why? Who else is he supposed to call out?
The internet has spoken unanimously. I was kind of shocked at how much I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought Covington, Poirier, we get to have some fun, like BMF vibes.
And they'll talk shit because Dustin can at least talk shit.
I thought the fan base was going to be totally behind it. Now, maybe the fan base is burnt out on that narrative after just going through the Colby, Jorge, maybe they burned that narrative into the ground. I don't know. But I was wrong. I thought the fan base was going to really love it. I loved it. The fan base unanimously, like in one lockstep, has spoken that they want Covington to fight the winner of Khamzat and Gilbert Burns. Which
fucking nerds and virgins.
What the fuck?
So, like, why would Khamzat have to beat number 2 to fight number 1? Like,
fight number 1,
right? And like those guys have all had their shots. Like, the whole point is that he's going to fight 2 while Edwards fights Usman, and then he'll get the winner of that, unless Usman is the loser, in which he'll get his rematch, and then he could fight Covington.
And then it's disrespectful to Burns on the same note, because you mean to tell me Burns steps up to the plate, does the heavy lifting, fights Khamzat when no one else will, and he beats him, say in some scenario he beats him, right? And then you mean to tell me he has to fight Covington to get a title shot to get a rematch? Whenever he hurt Usman, he gave Usman a tough fight? Like, I disagree with the internet wholeheartedly. I think it's fucked up to either guy. You mean, Khamzat beats number 2, and he's not the number 1 contender whenever number 4 is getting the title shot currently.
Dude, the best of all worlds is that you do, and just hear me out. I have a long plan to this, okay?
Oh, because you kind of have to, right?
You do Ultimate Fighter, Poirier, Covington. They're the coaches, okay? You get them as
2
personalities.
years from now, though, because it's already picked. It's Pena Nunez already, and they have a few months before they start filming. Love where you're going. Love your creativity.
Okay, that's what I wanted. But either way, Poirier Covington is. I want that fight. You could even do like plan it way out ahead and do like a marketing tour for it because they'll talk shit. They have great fan bases, and they stand for very separate things in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Poirier is the good guy, and Covington is the bad guy. Yeah, so that's a great press tour junket. So like you have that. Then you have Leon Edwards fighting Usman. That's going to happen. You have Khamzat fighting Gilbert Burns, right? I expect.
How is the championship fight like the wackest of all the matchups?
I know,
like
it's
Edwards,
so crazy.
Usman. Am I casual to just not be stoked on that and like think?
No, Usman's just going to take him down and dominate him.
Like, I feel the same way about that fight as I felt about Covington Masvidal. Right? Isn't that kind of a similar breakdown?
Honestly, Usman and Edwards feels just like Usman and Masvidal, which didn't end well for Masvidal either time, and it ended worse the second time than the first time.
It reminds me of Covington Masvidal, but I think we're getting at the same thing.
Kind of that same idea, yeah. And so I'm saying I think Leon loses that fight. I think Khamzat probably beats Gilbert. I think Khamzat then gets the shot at Usman. So let's say like because the Usman Edwards fight
wild.
Right. So then you get to see Usman and Khamzat fight after Colby has potentially beaten Poirier and is sitting waiting to get the winner of that.
Hear me out though. You went tinfoil hat earlier. I'm going tinfoil hat now. All Usman's been talking about is fighting Canelo and boxing after the Edwards fight. He's like literally won't shut up about it. Hanging out with Ngannou too much. But what I'm getting at is what if he fights? I'm saying in order to do that, especially after watching what Ngannou just went to, I mean, what if Usman beats Edwards, retires, Canelo, straight up 100% ducks Khamzat in the ducking of all duckings? People think Khabib ducked Oliveira. That would be the duck of all ducks.
But that's for the number one pound-for-pound fighter to duck anybody would be insane, would it not?
He goes, he fights Canelo, makes $80 million, but he can't be under UFC contract to do that, so he has to retire. And then he's going to burn the bridge with Dana by doing that boxing match, and it covers his ass because that way he has plausible deniability of I didn't duck. It fell apart with me and Dana. I wanted the boxing paycheck. Blah, 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 plausible deniability. But me, I'm going to be sitting here, and me and my fucking little evil cronies are going to be sitting here pumping the he dug Khamzat narrative hard on Twitter.
Man, all I'm saying is listen.
That's tinfoil hat, but I'm having fun here.
I don't hate that idea, honestly. And I would even say further, there's plenty of stories out of All Stars MMA where Khamzat trains that he used to ragdoll Gustafsson in sparring matches. Yeah. So if that's true, nobody at 170 has a chance. That's just straight up.
We're big Khamzat guys. I got my Khamzat rookie card over there.
That's tight.
For that stock to go up. But no, I think we're both big Khamzat guys. But I think it would be a travesty if we don't see Khamzat Usman. But I'm saying tinfoil hat. Go check Usman's Twitter. He won't shut up about Canelo.
Well, Canelo's never going to do that. I'll just ruin it for Usman right now.
I mean, maybe it's Twitter talk, maybe it's Twitter fingers, but he already accepted it verbally on Twitter. He's like fucking with the idea. I mean, why would you not? Usman, out of all the strikers, I mean, I think Canelo's going to destroy Usman.
Yeah, of course he is. That's
why would you not accept that fight and make a bunch of money for an easy night out if you're Canelo?
Yeah, that's fair.
Instead of fighting some young fucking killer Honduran that nobody, that nobody's ever heard of.
All I'm saying is Canelo's about to go fight for the middleweight title, which is from whatever weight runs from 72 to like 90 in boxing. That's where his next fight's going to be, and he says he's going to weigh in at 180, and he doesn't care. He's going to win.
He's drinking them Modelo's for sure,
dude. That means he'll have owned belts all the way from 54 to 90 in boxing.
And then hear me out. 2 conspiracy theories in one segment is too much, but it came to my mind, and I want to bounce it off you. And it's not my idea. It's Colby. Colby has talked about, floated the idea of going to 85 and trying to get a fight with Adesanya. I
Poor
mean,
idea. It's a poor idea.
I mean, Dana White laughed it off. Once again, the only reason why I don't hate it, and I'm not going to laugh it off, I mean, Khamzat's pretty much the same size as Adesanya, right? So, like, if size is the argument?
Here's why I'm laughing it off for Colby.
One more point. And I know I've already said this. It wasn't an Usman call out. So maybe not your favorite, maybe not Dana's favorite, probably not going to happen. But I love the idea. But go ahead.
Here's the one thing I would say about Colby saying the 85 thing. He was talking in the embeddeds leading up to this fight about how he fights at his natural weight. Like he barely cuts weight to fight at 170. And if that's true, then he should just go down in weight.
See, I disagree, man. I think Colby has something that no other fighter has, and that's true at 170, and it's also true at 185. And that cardio, that pace, and I also think that's cap. I don't think Colby walks around at 170. Or
I think it's cap too. I just want to know. Yeah, that was really what I was.
At least 185. I mean, maybe he wouldn't be cutting weight, but maybe that would be awesome. What does Colby's gas tank look like not cutting any weight? Like, I'm just saying, or maybe what does Colby look like if he fucking hits a couple squats? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I mean? Puts on a little muscle. I mean, I don't love it. It's not ideal, but Colby's at that point in his career where he's tried plan A. Like, ideal is off the table, right? Like, it's not ideal. It's not going to be ideal. Is fighting Khamzat ideal? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, fighting Poirier is ideal. We'll see if that happens. But I'm just saying, if he doesn't get, like, his way, and it seems like the fans aren't getting behind the idea. You know, Dana was kind of lukewarm on the idea. He didn't diffuse it, but he wasn't like juiced about it. Poirier seemed like lukewarm on the idea. He kind of came back with like a mediocre response, like a question mark. Like, you know, so it just doesn't seem to be gaining traction. So it's like, I feel you. The 185 thing, it's not ideal. But like I said, I also don't think Khamzat's ideal. Usman, I mean, like I said, I think ideal's off the table. So if you're saying like, okay, what's like the lesser of evils? Like how does Covington versus like a Cannonier, what does that look like? Or Covington versus like, see, I think Vittori's weird because he's so big. But like
that's what I mean. Like he gets outsized by these guys at a point.
But I think that's why, and then like Adesanya, at least you could sell the stylistic matchup, and now you could sell me that it doesn't work. But I think that he has like presents, you know, challenges. But yeah, like right, like what does he look like against Costa or Vittori? I don't think Covington Brunson's a fun fight. I think it's actually probably a very boring fight.
I think it's a wrestling match.
But I think it's like a winnable fight. I think Colby could beat Brunson in a wrestling match, as you say. So, like, in Brunson's top 5 still. So, like, that's why I don't think the 185 idea is, like, absurd. And I think Costa still could move up and be 205.
Strickland Covington's fun.
Strickland Covington works.
Till Covington's fun.
It works.
Till Covington's super fun, actually, because Till used to be a really big welterweight who just now fights at a more natural weight. Well, if Colby would get bigger and fight at 85.
Till's been training with Khamzat on the red.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I know everybody's pouring water all over the middleweight idea. If you're saying as a plan A, I would agree with you. But now if we just go ahead and concede that plan A is off the table and we're at plan B, if not plan C, then actually you got to consider welterweight was plan B. Colby started as a lightweight. So, which also doesn't look great for the middleweight argument that he started at lightweight. But
I'm telling you, he can make 155.
I mean, if Jalen Turner can, right? Like, he would be the smaller man. If he was in the cage with Jalen Turner, he'd be the smaller guy.
That's what I mean. And, like, honestly, tell me Michael Chandler and Covington's not a great fight. Tell me Gaethje Covington's not awesome.
Yeah, but that's the last thing the fucking lightweight division need is a fucking
hell, Makhachev Covington would be sick.
You mean to tell me you want another guy that fights every 18 months in the top 5 of the lightweight division? Is that what you're telling me? That's what it sounds like.
No, Covington's active when he gets to fight for belts or guys he hates.
He can be active and he can also not be active. And in
Well,
the
that's the
lightweight
UFC's fault.
division, the lightweight division isn't a place you go for activity. I'll put it that way. I think we both agree that Poirier is like best of both worlds. It's like have your cake and eat it too, right?
Yeah, that is the best. Just bring him up to 70, stay at your weight, fight a rival that is actually being at a more comfortable weight. That's also like Poirier's gonna be a Hall of Famer in the UFC.
Yep.
I don't know if I can say that for Covington, so that's like why I'm saying like I think I could.
Maybe with the win over Poirier.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like if he can keep amassing wins over names like that, so it's important to keep that in mind as well, like legacy, because that's a legacy win.